Greetings dear students. In this video session, we are going to learn about the different classes of antibodies as a part of the Unit 2 for the Immunology paper. I am Dr. G. Hema, Faculty of Biotechnology. In the previous video session, I have discussed in detail the structure of an antibody molecule, how the antibody molecules are capable of binding antigens, and what are the functions of the variable and the constant regions of an antibody molecule. In this video session, we are going to learn in detail about the different isotypes of antibody molecules and their important structural and functional features. There are different types of antibody molecules based on the light chain type or the heavy chain type they are comprised of. The genes coding for the heavy chains and the light chains possess multiple alleles, and due to this there are different peptide chains both in the light chain class as well as the heavy chain class. In the light chains there are two isotypes, namely the lambda light chain and the kappa light chain. Any antibody molecule can have both lambda light chains or both kappa light chains. They cannot possess one lambda light chain and one kappa light chain. Now, with respect to the heavy chain, there are 5 isotypes coded by different multiple alleles for the heavy chain constant region or as well as the variable region. So these multiple alleles give rise to 5 different types of heavy chain peptide sequences, namely the alpha chain, gamma chain, mu chain, delta chain and epsilon chain. So there are 5 different isotypes of the antibody molecules. IgA, that is immunoglobulin A, carrying the alpha heavy chain, IgG comprised of gamma heavy chain, IgM carrying mu heavy chain, IgD carrying the delta heavy chain, and IgE comprised of the epsilon heavy chain. Any of these 5 classes of antibodies can possess either both the lambda chains in case of, for the light chain or the both kappa light chains. Now, based on the presence of the different heavy chain, the structural and functional properties of these antibodies vary. IgG, which is the most widely researched and worked out antibody, is the largest fraction of the immunoglobulins in the serum. It almost comprises about 80% of total serum immunoglobulins. It is monomeric in nature. Within the IgG isotype of antibodies, there are 4 sub-isotypes or subclasses, which are named as IgG1, G2, G3 and G4 in the order of increasing concentration in the serum. The IgG isotype of antibodies have important functions like toxin neutralization and viral neutralization, as well as bacterial elimination, pathogen elimination. These are the only antibodies that can cross the placenta and protect the fetus in the womb from infections. IgG also is very efficient in complement activation. Complement activation requires an antigen to be bound by at least 2 antigen binding sites. This is served well by the IgG molecule, which is bivalent in nature. So IgG is very effective in activating the complement proteins in the serum. IgG also serve as effective opsonins. Opsonization is a process where the antibodies bind to pathogens or antigens through their variable region, that is the antigen binding site, and at the same time through their constant region, that is Fc portion, they bind to suitable receptors on the surfaces of macrophages and neutrophils, which are phagocytic in nature. By doing so, these molecules guide the pathogens to the phagocytic cells and aid in their elimination. So IgG can function as effective opsonins. The next important class of antibodies is IgM, which is comprised of the mu heavy chain. This comprises almost about 5 to 10% of total serum immunoglobulins. Membrane bound IgM, which is found in mature naive B cells, is monomeric in nature, whereas secretory IgM produced by the plasma B cells is pentameric in nature. Pentameric means there are five immunoglobulin molecules, IgM molecules, which are arranged together and are attached by a peptide chain called the joining chain. In this pentamer, the Fc portions are arranged towards the center and the antigen binding sites are arranged towards the periphery of the pentamer. So as such, the valency of an IgM molecule is 10. It has 10 antigen binding sites. So it can bind to almost 10 antigen molecules in case of small antigens like haptens, and if the antigens are large, it can bind up to minimum 5 epitopes or the antigenic determinants. As such, it is very efficient in neutralizing viral particles, agglutinating bacterial cells, and causing their elimination. IgM is the first class of antibodies produced in a primary immune response. These are also the first type of antibodies produced by a neonate, that is a newborn baby. So, the first type of antibodies produced in a newborn baby are of the IgM isotype. IgM are very important in complement activation also. Since complement activation requires a minimum of two antigen antibody bindings, IgM being decameric, that is, it has 10 valency, it can efficiently activate the complement proteins present in the serum. This also is a major secretory immunoglobulin because the joining chain also facilitates its transport to the epithelial surfaces. So, at the point of entry of pathogens, that is the epithelial surfaces, IgM acts as a defense molecule. Coming to immunoglobulin A, this comprises of alpha heavy chain. This also constitutes a considerable fraction of the serum IgG, up to 10 to 15%. IgA in serum is mostly monomeric, whereas on secretory surfaces it is dimeric in nature. That is, two immunoglobulin molecules are attached to each other with the help of a joining chain. IgA also has another peptide, namely the secretory protein, due to which it is very important in protection of surfaces of the mucosal membrane. This IgA, due to its comparatively smaller size than the IgM, as well as the presence of the secretory protein, can be carried to the mucosal surfaces. As such, IgA in its dimeric form is found in saliva, tears, mucus, as well as this is the only antibody that is found in the breast milk. Due to its presence in the breast milk, this is the only antibody that can give protection to the newborn babies against infections. That is why it is very important for neonates to be fed upon breast milk so that they get the passive immunization from the mother through the breast milk. IgA also is very important in defending the body from pathogens at the point of their entry, like the mucosal membranes and the retinal surfaces, as well as nasal linings and the linings of the buccal cavity, because it is present on the mucosal surfaces. The next class of immunoglobulin is IgD, immunoglobulin D, carrying the delta heavy chain. This is present in very low concentration in the serum, just about 0.2%. IgD is expressed by mature B cells most of the times along with IgM molecules. IgD has only 4 domains in this heavy chain, whereas IgM has 5 domains in the heavy chain. IgG, IgA and IgD possess only 4 domains in the heavy chain, 1 in the variable region and 3 in the constant region. The biological functions of IgD are non-specific and have to be yet to be identified. It is also said to play an important role in secondary immune responses. IgE or the immunoglobulin E carries the epsilon heavy chain. The concentration of this class of antibodies in serum in general is very low, but this concentration gets elevated during two situations, namely parasitic infections as well as during allergic reactions or allergic responses. IgE possesses five domains in its heavy chain, one in the variable region and the remaining four in the constant region. There is no hinge region. The additional domain provides flexibility to the IgE molecule. IgE is very important in defending an individual during parasitic infections. Parasites which are large in size cannot be phagocytosed and engulfed by phagocytic cells. In such cases, IgE goes and binds to the antigenic determinants on these parasites which are present in the tissue spaces in between the cells, that is in intercellular spaces, and the Fc portion of this IgE molecules has a very high binding ability to the certain receptors on mast cell surfaces. So when mast cells are bound to the Fc portion, they undergo degranulation. That is, they release the cytoplasmic granules into the tissue spaces surrounding the presence of the parasites. These granules contain enzymes and other pharmacokinetically active substances which help in destroying those parasites. Now, the same property of IgE is also responsible for mediating hypersensitivity reactions. Most allergic responses are a result of degranulation of mast cells induced by IgE. These were the different antibody classes that are present in the vertebrate immune system: IgA, IgG, IgM, IgD, and IgE. Now, we had discussed that any protein can act as an antigen. Antibodies are also proteins, so they themselves can also act as antigens, which means that when antibodies from an individual of one species are introduced into an individual of another species, they can induce an immune response and result in the production of antibodies which target the first set of antibodies. So, antibodies are themselves potent immunogens. Now, let us see what are the different types of immune responses or antibodies that can be induced by antibodies themselves. When antibodies are used as antigens, they stimulate the immune system of the host through three types of antigenic determinants or epitopes. These antigenic determinants or epitopes on antibodies are classified into isotypic determinants, allotypic determinants, and idiotypic determinants based on the nature of the immune response. Isotypic determinants are those antigenic determinants present in the constant region of an antibody molecule. They define a class of antibodies in each species. That means they differ between species. Within a species, they are same. All individuals of a species carry the same isotypic determinants which define the antibody isotypes, that is, the heavy chain regions. So, when antibodies from an individual of one species are introduced into an individual of another species, the other second species or the host produces antibodies for these isotypic determinants. Allotypic determinants are those which are also present in the constant region but differ within the individuals of the same species. Each species, all individuals of each species inherit the same set of genes for the heavy chains. But due to allelic differences, in some individuals there are subtle amino acid differences. These minor amino acid differences give rise to a set of epitopes or antigenic determinants which are termed as allotypic determinants. So when antibodies from an individual of one species are introduced into another individual of the same species, then the host produces antibodies for these allotypic determinants. So allotypic determinants are epitopes which vary among the members of the same species, whereas the isotypic determinants vary between or among different species. Now coming to the third set of antigenic determinants on antibodies, They are called as idiotypic determinants. Idiotypic determinants arise due to the amino acid sequences lying in the variable region of the antibodies, whereas the other two were in the constant region of the peptide site. The idiotypic determinants lie on the variable region of the antibody molecule. Now, these determinants can induce an immune response only in a genetically identical individual of the same species. So, it means, for example, between identical twins, idiotypes can induce an immune response and cause production of antibodies directed to these epitopes in specific. So, these are the different antigenic determinants present on antibodies, namely isotypic determinants, allotypic determinants, and idiotypic determinants. So, this was regarding the isotypes of antibodies, their important specific functions, and also different types of antigenic determinants or epitopes present on antibodies themselves. You can refer to these books for a deeper insight into the concepts of immunology. Thank you.